direction. I know it's only redirection. I see the blessings right beside me. The chances of quitting unlikely. I do it like I'm in my Nikes. Don't make excuses, they never excite me. Boxes, I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it, quitting was never an option. Exhausted, this passion is never exhausted. And you cannot stop it. Nah, you cannot stop it.
Good morning, Knicks universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Knicks Morning Brew on this Monday, January 15th. Like always, I'm your guy Hector, hanging out with my compañeros. I got my guy Phil All Cap, and I got my brother, the one and only Jiggaman Porto. All you Knicks fans, wake up and get your coffee, fellas.
What up? What up, bro? I mean,
Bro.
A lot of people are off of work today. It's Martin Luther King Day. Salute.
Special Monday.
Special Monday.
MLK Day.
You know what? Matter of fact, we got to start off right. We got Bernice King's tweet out there. Daddy, thank you for lifting the power of love. Thank you for believing that we can defeat injustice without destroying each other. Thank you for your courage and compassionate action. I remember you today on your 95th birthday. Salute. Shout out to the king. Phil, I was going to wait for you to say something, but we'll just wait longer while you're muted.
Hey, I think you muted me. I unmuted myself. Someone did me nasty. All right. Now,
Muted again, Phil.
Hector, you did that. That was Hector. That was for sure, Hector.
You a straight up hater. I'm gonna bring the hater icon up again today. Anyway, I love that line right here. Thank you, believing that we can defeat injustice without destroying each other. And that's one part that I love. It's like we can defeat something without having to destroy something else. I love that. Without having to tear each other down, we could speak on things that need to be spoken about. So I absolutely love that quote. Absolutely love that we get to chop it up today, hang out, talk Knicks. It's actually a full Knick day for us. We got the show. At 3 p.m. we got the game. And then tonight, we're going to be all three of us live with Ron and John at Still Knick Fans, which are our family to the death. Those are our guys.
Can I ask you both a question? So with us having so much content today, do you guys do wardrobe changes, or do you guys just stay in one fit all day? Because
I've been in my same outfit since the last episode, right? I changed it up on Saturday when I went to go see Dexter at SNY, but I put on the same uniform that I was wearing on Friday. I'm just one of those guys.
And I'm the complete opposite. I'll probably change my underwear every episode.
That's a fact. That's a definite fact.
By the time we have the game, I'll change my underwear and everything else.
If it wasn't for the fact that I want to keep our subscribers, I'd say prove it, all right? But we want to keep people coming back to the show. Heck, before we bring up our guest, because we got our boy Leo Valentin in the building today. I'm excited. Listen, if you're in the Jets community, y'all know Hoodie Johnson. You know what I'm saying? That's our GM right there. That's our guy, okay? But those of you that have Knicks issues and need therapy, then he could switch it up. He could be Thomas Jules for you. Lee is my guy. Let's do a roll call. Let's get Lee up.
Do a little bit of the roll call. I got my guy Mark Swift in the building. Mark Swift, how you doing? My guy Double A, salute. Hector, doing your thing. I smell you from here. Oh, Double A, my guy, salute to you. Keith Turner is in the building. Keith says, I put no energy into rumors. That's why they're called rumors. It's used just to put out content. Listen, Keith, whenever these blue check guys on Twitter report something, we got to bring it to the people. We got to smell if it's bullshit or if it's actually any sources or facts behind it. Shout out to Ron and John from Still Knick Fans. What it do? Salute. 3 capital S's. Just Knicks is in the building. Master 3 is in the building. How you doing? Just Knicks, salute. He says, how we doing out there? My guy Kev from Knicks Nation is in the building. He says, I got to say, we have to start with the trade Julius Randle talk. The Knicks aren't trading him. He is a corner piece of this franchise. I know fans don't like him, Phil, but this is what it is. Salute to you, my guy. Jonathan is in the building. Ditto 514 is in the building. We appreciate all of you guys who showed up. Chris
How's it feel, brother? How's it
of
feel?
course,
How's it feel?
But the difference is I recognize it. You don't recognize when you get muted, right? So shout out to everybody that's in the building. If you guys can smack that like button, hit the subscribe button. I want to do a check real quick. We are sitting at 2,827 subscribers on our way to 3,000. So if you guys can smack that subscribe bell button, so let's bring up our guy Leo Valentine.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's kick off the next morning brew with our boy Leo Valentine. What up, Leo?
Yo, what up, guys? Thanks for having me on, man. This is dope. Yo, y'all got some dope guests, and shout out to you guys for being on SNY and all that shit, man. Just doing big things, and let's get these guys to 3,000 subscribers. Let's get them to 30,000, man. So make sure you guys subscribe, man. Big shout out to everybody in the chat.
Phil, give Lee that 20 I owe him. All right?
One thing I gotta say about Lee is like, stop making content and just be part of the Jets offensive line. We need it. And there's a bunch of pansies on our offensive line. We just need you to like throw on the jersey and that. Aaron Rodgers may still be here if you were there on opening night. We might still have Aaron Rodgers.
I wish I could line up right next to ABT, man, but I'd be worse than Billy Turner. You know what I'm saying? So.
We don't need
Lee, you know, with it being January 15th, you know, we understand both New York football teams aren't involved in any of the playoffs going right now with the NFL. Before we jump into the next conversation, what's your thoughts when it comes to both teams in this season and also the playoff landscape that just happened? The Cowboys, keep that same energy out there, Cowboy fans. I know this is a Knicks show, but I got to get my guy Lee.
Yeah, I'll be honest, man. I don't watch after the Jets and Giants are out. I stopped watching, man. So I don't care what happens. I haven't watched the postseason and God knows how long. Man. But I will say though, man, shout out to the young boys, CJ and Jordan Love doing their thing, man. It's good to see the young boys, you know, out there, people that look like us out there doing their thing, man, and overcoming. Because I remember there was a time where, you know, Doug Williams was an anomaly winning the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So I come from a time where you couldn't run. You know, Warren Moon was the exception, Randall Cunningham. So like, shout out to those dudes doing their thing, man, running the ball and also standing in the pocket and doing their thing and picking these so-called good defenses apart, man. So shout out to them.
I will say this, fellas. At least the damn Knicks are good, because if you're a Jets fan or Giants fan, I'm sorry, we all suck, all right? But listen, the Knicks are killing it.
Well, I will say this, man. I went to the last Giants game of the season and they balled out, man. It's good to see that they didn't quit on Coach Daboll and you know, they played hard all the way through. And you see, it just takes. You know, it's hard, man. Football is a game of inches, man. A couple of inches here, a couple of inches there. The Giants could be in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So, and the same thing with the Jets. So, football is a hard sport, man. You need everything to go right. You need everybody healthy. But that ass whooping that they put on Philly was really, really impressive and really, really good to see. Like they took them out the game completely in the first quarter. You know what I'm saying? And Philly, they were pulling guys, you know, in the second quarter. So that was good to see. So there is hope. You see what the potential for both New York teams when they're playing well and when they're healthy. So it's good to see. These guys are going in the right direction. I don't know what's happening with Wink Martindale, but you know, we'll have to see what they do on defense. But I think they got the right guy in Dable.
Go ahead, Heck, my bad.
No, I was gonna say, as your local and residential Giants fan here, I appreciate those kind words, but F that, bro. I needed them to get their draft value higher. I needed a higher draft pick. Like I said, appreciate the effort against the Philadelphia Eagles, but we were supposed to be shooting for the draft then. I know a lot of fans may look at it differently, but we got a lot of questions, and Wink is just a second-tier question this offseason.
Yeah. So, Heck, let me say this. So they drafted Saquon Barkley number 2 in the draft. They drafted Daniel Jones number 7 in the draft. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter because you can get guys later on in the draft who become stars and you never even know. Like, look, my Jets drafted number 26. They drafted my favorite player, Jermaine Johnson. They drafted my second favorite player, Michael Carter, in round 6 or whatever it was. So you can get good value in the draft. Draft position does not matter. There's going to be other teams that make mistakes. We saw Houston make a huge mistake. We saw the Jaguars make a mistake in who they picked, and that, you know, that changes the draft board. So it doesn't matter where you pick. the players on the team don't want to lose, and they're playing for their contracts, they're playing for their families, they're playing for their lives. So I don't expect any player or any team to tank. Even though that's what we want as fans. And I get it because you want that guarantee that you're going to get your guy. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You want your guys to win, and going into that next season, the guys who are going to be there, you want them to have the confidence going into next season that they can do what they set out to do, which is win football.
And when you got guys like Puka Nacua going off the way he did all season, and you're like, that's fifth round, people. That's fifth round. Like there's gems everywhere. I don't know if you guys heard about this guy. I hate saying his name. I know you know who I'm talking about, Leah. Tom. But that guy, he was like
Thomas Bradshaw. That's who you talking about? You talking about Thomas Bradshaw? Yeah. But again, I appreciate the kind words when it comes to the draft. But
how about Double A
draft pick?
How about Double A dropping a 199 super chat? Hector, block this Jets talk.
Exactly, Double A. Let's get back into the next conversation. Lee, again. Phil, go ahead. I'll throw it over to you to get back into this.
Because that's a great transition. We're talking drafting and something the Knicks tend not to really value too much right now. But like you said, we've gotten value in some of these picks that are, later on in the draft. And we've seen that these last few games. But I want to give a shout out real quick. Got a few people that have been watching on Twitter, so they might not show up in the chat, but I want to shout out Vince, shout out Nickinator, shout out my guy Swan, everybody that's reposting for people to head on over on their day off and watch the show. We appreciate the love and support. But let's move into Knicks talk first, Jigga. Let's bring up the first point that you want to talk about, and let's get Lee's take on it, because I know a lot of Lee's thoughts when it comes to the Jets. I want to hear some more of the Knicks, so let's do it.
Well, I figured we obviously got to talk about that last game, right? Because right after the game, you had, again, a normal split. Those that were like, hey, a win is a win. And those that were like, yo, that was the depleted G League team, and we looked sloppy. At the end of the day, Tim got his 500 wins, though. You know what I'm saying? So salute to Tibbs on that. But let's talk about that game, because that was the first game, life without Brunson on the court. And we did kind of look sloppy the entire time. Lee, where you at with the last game?
It didn't look good, and it feels like it was a carryover from like the game against Dallas. Not having Brunson, I didn't think it would be that big of a deal. But there's some things that I don't like the turnovers, the ball handling, I can deal with maybe Jules or Brunson taking some shots that are some poor shots, but other guys just maybe Grimes not taking the best. Not having the best looks or just it was just very, very sloppy, and it was very difficult to watch, man. It's frustrating because you expect your team to play well and to get blown out. And I hate in game. I love every play on the team. Let me say this. I love every player on the team as long as they're on the team. In game, I'm going to be frustrated and hate all of them. Whenever they make a mistake, whenever they don't play well. So it's like Randle. And I hate to pick on him because he's such a big deal in the Knicks community and on Knicks Twitter and all that stuff. But you see the effort, right? You see him getting blown by. You see him just standing around and watching while Isaiah Hartenstein is all over the place, falling all over the floor. You see Jalen Brunson game to game giving up his body. You see Grimes playing hard. You see OG, who's defending his man, and then it's so evident that you see, and it's frustrating to see because you want this guy to be a star. He's all NBA. You want him to be that. You want him to play like an all-star all the time. And it's frustrating, but losing or losing the first quarter even to these guys, it should have been a blowout from the beginning. I'm sorry.
No, I want to echo what Lee talked about real quick when it comes to the ball handling and when it comes to the turnovers. 22 turnovers, that's inexcusable, right? You're not going to win many NBA games. You're lucky you was going against a G League team. That's the only reason you even won the game, right? Yeah. And I think it falls on the shoulders, and it should fall on the shoulders of Julius Randle. Without Jalen Brunson in the lineup, if Julius Randle was going to be right there next to Jalen Brunson when it comes to who is leading the team or who is the face of the franchise, then you have to step up and you have to be responsible when one of your guys, if your A2 guy is not there in Jalen Brunson, you got to be able to step up and control the team on the court. That many turnovers, like you said, Lee, bad shot selections. And again, like Lee said, We want to root for Julius Randle. This is our guy. He was an all-star for us, all NBA team. We want to root for him, but it's kind of hard to root for him when you see the lack of effort on the defensive side of the court. When you look at this roster, all of these defensive players we picked up, when it comes to Hartenstein, when it comes to Josh Hart, Dante, OG, we picked up those guys so they can cover the lapse of defensive effort from Julius Randle. The reason why all of those guys are on our team is to pick up the defensive side that Julius Randle lacks. Yes, Jalen Brunson is not a top defender as well. I understand that. But at least Jalen Brunson is giving you effort. At least he is drawing charge. At least Jalen Brunson is getting back on defense, not spending 5 seconds arguing with the referee instead of getting back and stopping the fast break. I know Phil wants to chime in because that's his favorite subject when we talk about Juju.
Yo, people that chime in for the first time will really buy your bullcrap.
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize.
People that have like narratives on Knicks Twitter love just hopping in and being like, "See, even Hector says Phil's a hater." Anyway, here's my problem with the game the other day. I feel like things that should cause red flags for us, such as the performance in that game, get masked by something else. So now we're here and all of New York media is going to talk about Tom Thibodeau, 500 wins, astronomical amount of wins as a coach. We're not talking about the fact that we barely beat a junior varsity basketball team. Like, here's the crazy thing, okay? So I'm going to name some of these names real quick, all right? So we got, let's go for it.
Jackson.
We got David Roddy. We got Xavier Tillman. We've got Thomas Bryant. We got Josh Richardson. We've got
that's
John
the 2024 All-Star lineup, Phil.
Anyone know who those players are? Okay.
Now I do, because they were beating the Knicks in their ass.
Yeah. You know what the fun part is? There's some people that will say the same thing, but I just named players off of 2 different rosters, and we had no clue that they weren't
which one was which. Yeah.
That's how bad it is. The fact that we had no clue who any of these guys were, and they all got their shine yesterday, making us sweat as the New York Knicks starting lineup. So this is a huge concern, because when Jalen Brunson's not there, which anything can happen, you don't want to revolve a team around one guy. And if they can't show up in the playoffs, then we're back to the whole Randle situation where we're like, oh, well, so-and-so was injured. That's why we didn't do good. Like, we cannot allow that to happen. The fact that we only had 3 assists more than we had turnovers is insane. Like, it was just a very, very ugly, ugly game. And I will say the same thing I'll say about Julius Randle that I'll say about Tom Thibodeau and his 500 wins. I celebrate Tom Thibodeau's 500 wins. Congratulations. You've done a really, really good job turning this organization around. Career. You have had a great, great career. But at the end of the day, how many people want to show up and be a bridesmaid or a best man for the rest of their lives? Like, at one point in time, we actually want to be the bride and groom. We actually want to walk away with a ring. Tom Thibodeau has not been able to do that in his career as a head coach. He's done it as a defensive coach or as an assistant coach, but never as a coach. So as great as those 500 wins are, I'm not going to ignore those. I'll celebrate those. But for me, Eastern Conference Finals, a championship, those are the things that I'm ready to celebrate. Same with Randle. Being bad in the playoffs doesn't take away all-star caliber player or all-NBA, but let's celebrate those, but let's not just bank on those. A lot of fans want to bank and leave it there. Like, hey, at least we got this. Like, no, I want something for the team, not just individual accolades.
I will say this. One second, Lee. I'll throw it right to you. We got 85 people in the building, 96 people watching us collectively across all platforms. If you guys can, smack that like button. Let's get the likes up to 100 for my guy Lee on the stream. And also, if you're just watching, right, and if you haven't hit the subscribe button, like they always say, 1 subscribe a day will keep the doctor away. Hit the subscribe button. Help us get to 3K on the channel. Go ahead, Lee. My fault.
Hey, Phil, all good points, man. I will say this, right? So we have seen in consecutive years, we've seen some improvement, right? So we were nowhere. They went to the playoffs in 2020. They were missing Mitchell Robinson. Can't do anything about that. We missed the playoffs. We had a bad February that year, and that's why we missed the playoffs. If some guys are playing better in the month of February, who knows what happens? Then we make the playoffs. We almost make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. We lost to a team we should have beaten, but we had guys who were hurt. So there has been progress. And I completely understand what you're saying, and your point is very valid. But here's what I will challenge you: who is going to come in and even with the play? Let's say even with the players that we have now, the team has been built for Tom Thibodeau. Who can come in and who can right the ship and get us to that next level? What's a coach out there that you think that can get us to the next level?
Well, honestly, it's like anything. Like when and I'm not saying Tom Thibodeau can't do it. I'm just saying, like, I don't want what a lot of fans do and go, it's better than before,
right?
So we can just stay here. Like, right. No, you still want to progress. You still want to get further, you know? So for me, Tom Thibodeau is doing a good job, but there's things that have to change. Like for seasons, we've talked about every guest we've had on, whether they're pro Tibbs or anti Tibbs, has said the same thing. It's just packaged differently. You know, like Tom Tibbs is a good coach, but he does not know how to make in-game adjustments. He's a pre-game coach. Okay. So let's make those changes, you know, like, or bring someone in that can help you, you know, assist in making those changes. No, I don't want to coach at all. I would hate my life. I don't want that pressure at all.
Imagine not having sex for 82 days out of the season. Coach.
Yeah. I'm out. All right.
For real. So I'm not trying to like take stabs at the coach. I'm saying let's get past this. Let's do a little bit more. And so the question of, can someone else get us there? We don't know. Like, if you look at that Golden State Warriors team, Mark Jackson's the one that got that Golden State Warriors team prepped and ready. And then they got to a point where they felt like he couldn't get them any further. They brought in a coach who had never coached before. Steve Kerr was never a coach. So that was kind of taking a shot at seeing if something works. So I don't think there's ever a guarantee, just like a trade. Like, you never know when you make a trade if it's going to be a perfect fit. You know, that OG trade could have been absolutely horrible, like, at the end of the day, but it worked out and we celebrate it. You know, we don't not make that trade because we're unsure if bringing OG in is better than keeping RJ and Quick. We make the trade based off of, this still needs to improve. Let's at least try. So I would love for Tibbs to be able to pull it off and actually get his first championship with the Knicks. But that's going to take some changing on his part. So either him changing or the organization changing. As long as we progress, I don't care.
No, that makes sense.
And I respect that take, Phil. And for me, how I look at it when it comes to the front office, they've set their own timeline and they're not trying to rush the process. I know last offseason there was a trade proposal for Donovan Mitchell, and the front office, Leon Rose, thought it was a little bit too much to give up. So he's not trying to rush the process. He's not trying to get fleeced in any of these trades. Again, a trade for OG, it could have happened last year at the trade deadline. They wanted RJ and 3 first-round picks. Again, Leon Rose, not trying to rush the process, understands, no, we could wait. And look what happened. We gave up IQ, we gave up RJ and a second-round pick on what could have been RJ and 3 first-round picks. So I think that was a smart move from Leon Rose, and understanding, okay, this is the roster we have. This is the coach we have. We have to follow a certain timeline, and we cannot rush the process. Even when it comes down to the coach, Phil, right? And Leo, the conversation you was having about Tibbs. Tibbs may be the coach for right now, for what they view their process is right now. We don't know what's going to happen this offseason. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. Credit to Tom Thibodeau on getting his 500 wins. But if this postseason comes and goes, and it's the same thing, it's been the same rinse and repeat with both Tom Thibodeau and Julius Randle were out in the second round. Tom Thibodeau wasn't making any in-game adjustments. Julius Randle was having the same performances he had last year and against the Atlanta Hawks. Then changes would be made. But as of right now, I don't think any changes will come, you know, and this postseason, it would be a test to see what happens if Tom Thibodeau and Julius Randle could be a part of the franchise going forward. What's your thoughts, Sos?
So
and then throw it back to Lee.
Yeah, so going off this last game, I wasn't jumping off a ledge after this one, right? Things that upset me. I mean, Julius called it out right after the game. He said he played like shit. He said they looked sluggish. They weren't doing what they were supposed to do. What frustrated me was literally the game before and the last 6 games was we don't mess around with our food. We eat it. And then you have to come out and say, all right, we play with our food. Like, I never for a second really thought we were going to lose that game. But it was embarrassing because there was nobody on that team that was worth it.
Wanted us
really,
to
right?
lose the game.
I want your confidence. I want your confidence.
Well, because here's the thing. I went into that game on literally on this show talking about, man, it's been forever since we haven't had to sit here and say we play up or down to the level of who we're up against. I felt like this 6-game span before this last game, we were showing that we handle the teams we're supposed to handle and we compete with the teams that are the bigger dogs. This game was not that. This was what the hell just happened. So it's like it made you reset everything. But I made the statement on the show when we were here on Friday. I said, I am not going to bug out per game. I'm going to go with sample size. And right now we have 6 wins with OG here and 1 loss. So I'm still going to look at the, oh shit, we've done better, which then leads me to the tip side of it. It's so easy for us to sit here time and time again, talk about let's find another coach or Tibbs not the answer. And okay, who cares? 500 wins. My thing is we talked about what if you bring players in here that are Tibbs guys? Look what happened when we got a Tibbs guy. If we know he's not going to make in-game adjustments, we have all the things that we complain about with Tibbs, then the answer is whoever that next player is, whether big, small, whatever, it needs to just be another Tibbs guy. Because if you have a team that knows how to play Tibbs' style, then we're not going to bank on maybe Tibbs is going to change his coaching style, guys. You know what? We got him the players. Fuck it. He's a great coach all of a sudden. No, the only thing that's going to change is we brought a Tibbs guy in. So I wasn't bugging about it. I think tonight is a bigger challenge and something that can make you jump off a ledge if we're in a situation where we're not pulling off this win. Because, Lee, last time we played the Magic, what happened the next morning? Do you remember?
I don't, but
we traded away RJ and IQ.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it's like
I don't know if we can trade anybody tomorrow, but I will say this about Tibbs: his in-game adjustments are frustrating, and also what a lot of people didn't like about him was that his offense was very stale and very stagnant, and relied on 2 guys. If they're not shooting well, the rest of the offense goes to shit. So I have one of my biggest complaints was there's no ball movement, no player movement within the offense, and I have seen that. So I got to give credit to Thibodeau for that, and that's an improvement. So we are seeing some improvement on the things that we wanted from him. So I can't fully shit on him anymore until I figure out the next thing that he's doing terribly and then get mad at him for that.
Phil, hold on real quick. Phil, hold on real quick. I'm just going to do this real quick. Shout out to everybody in the building. We got over 120 of y'all in here messing with this crazy group of people. Listen, it's real easy. So there's this little button right there at the bottom, right? There's one that says subscribe, S-U-B. Hit that shit and hit the one that says like, and then that's it. Go ahead, Phil.
Language.
Yeah, so here's the thing, Lee. So I know you rock with the show, and then some people come in and out. You know, there's a difference between totally ignoring and disregarding and hating on a coach as opposed to being able to call out what is good and what is bad. And I feel like there's a group of fans that all they want to do is sit on these like Disney style clouds where, you know, like all of a sudden Tibbs stops coaching wrong. And if you just start singing fa la la la, you know, magically sing a song, the season's going to turn out the way you want it to turn out. That's not me. You know, like I'm a Disney head, but I'm not going to just start singing as I walk down the street and believe that everything's fine. Like it's not going to happen.
Can you imagine Phil skipping down down 7th Ave?
He does it all the time, Lee. He's just hating right now. He does it all the time.
It's
like anything. Like I see people in the chat that are like, "Oh, you got to ignore it. Just move on, celebrate." Like I don't know any relationship or anything that we commit to that works outside of a New York Knicks fan base where you do that. You know, like if I do that with my business and ignore when things are bad and just remember that things are better than they were, my business would start to suffer. Same with my marriage. Like my wife doesn't come to me and say, "Hey babe, you got to fix this stuff because it's, you know, taking a toll on the family." And me going, you ignore everything else that I do. That's great. I'm an over 500 dad. I'm an over 500 husband.
What?
Like, you know how many wins I have as a husband? You know, like,
But
Phil, why does everybody's tip voice always sound like that? Like everybody's.
like that just doesn't work in life. So it's not going to work in my fandom either. Like, I don't hate the guy. I just want to actually celebrate what needs to be celebrated, call out what needs to be changed, and move on. One thing I'll say is we did see some good things yesterday, you know, regardless of how scary that game was turnover wise and everything like that. And I'm not blowing it up because of one game. I'm talking about it because it's one game that we saw without Jalen Brunson. And we've seen, unfortunately, Jalen Brunson deal with a few injuries already this season. Like, that can be a concern. A lot of people on Knicks Twitter have asked the question, what happens if Jalen Brunson gets injured? Like, is our season completely done? And obviously you can't go off of one game, but that's the first sample size of what we've seen with a fully healthy team, except for without Jalen Brunson. And it looked rough, you know? So there's things that we can celebrate, which we'll talk about. But that is a concern. We have to think about, okay, maybe the trade that we need is something that could actually get a facilitator and bucket getter. Because if you look, Julius Randle was facilitating a ton that game, and he shouldn't have been. Like, there was like 6 turnovers or something like that from Julius Randle alone. You know,
we know that from previous years. We know what we've seen from him from previous years. Yeah.
The only like everyone had crazy amount of turnovers, and the guy who was supposed to be our point guard had 3, which isn't horrible, but everybody else had upwards to 6-7 turnovers. So why are they having the ball more in their hands than the guy that's supposed to be taking Jalen Brunson's facilitating role?
I do like what Jam and Jet said in there. Where is it? Hold on, I just saw it. It said Memphis were players playing for their lives to stay on the court, like playing at the MCA, at the YMCA. I mean, it's true. They were balling out. We can joke about it, no names, a little embarrassing, but it was really a tale of two halves, right? But Phil, you said it. There are bright spots. Let's not act like we're not happy with certain things on our team. And Lee, I'm gonna throw it to you and let me apologize now, people in the chat. Okay, I did the graphics at 2:00 in the morning. I just realized Deuce is floating in the air, but Deuce McBride in the floating. Oh man, I'll tell you, news to self. Don't do graphics at 2:00 in the morning. But hey, Lee, how we feeling about Deuce? Because I don't know. After that game, I feel like instead of me saying "How you doing" all the time, I'm gonna start going "How you deucing." No,
that works. Pretty cool. I'm not gonna
he said it works.
That works. It works.
Well, not really, because you say deucing when you're going to the bathroom. So you're asking a very private question. How you deucing? Like, what do you mean, bro? Like,
I'll go back to the drawing board. Right?
Yeah, go back to
how you deucing? You stand up when you deuce, or you sit
exactly. Like, depends how nasty the toilet is. Am I at a rest stop? I gotta hover. Like, you need that information,
folks. If you guys can. We got over 116 people in the building. If you guys can, please smack that like button. We're sitting on 45 likes for the stream. And if you guys can, hit the subscribe button. We are at 2829 on the stream. Lee, the floor is yours.
Yeah, shout out to Ali State of Mind. I appreciate you, kid. So Deuce McBride, man, what a wonderful job he's done this year, right? We didn't expect his 3-point percentage to go up like that. We didn't expect him to. He's confident. And this goes back to the front office and also to Tibbs, right? Because a lot of people, the complaint is Tibbs doesn't develop guys. He doesn't let the young guys play. And that's all we've seen. And also to the front office, shout out to them because, we're talking about guys who are coming in and playing and being effective, who were picked 25th. Quickly was, our guy. He was picked at 25. Maybe Scott Perry had something to do with that. Scott Perry also found Mitch at 36. But there's these guys time and time again that they're finding and developing who are making a contribution. So I love what Deuce is doing. I'm a little nervous because I'm not sure how long he can keep it up because, and we saw what he can do in the G League, right? He's lighting it up in the G League, scoring 38 at times. But for him to come in and do that and do it confidently is really, really exciting. And not only is he offering that on offense. His defense, defending the best player 94 feet, the point guard, he's terrorizing on defense. He's in the passing lanes. He's doing everything. He's a Tibbs guy, right? So if he can be that bucket getter, and if the guys can trust him more to handle the ball more, because he was in the game and he's the point guard, but a lot of guys had their hands on the ball and they were having unforced turnovers. So I think him spending more time with the starters and getting some more minutes, the guys will be more comfortable with him, and he'll know where to hit guys, where they like the passes, so they can do their catch and shoot, and he'll be able to drive to the basket and get whatever he wants. And also too, Malachi Flynn look really good. So I think they have good options. I think they have. We're going to talk
about him. We're definitely going to talk about him. But before I go and talk about McBride, Hector, what are your thoughts on what you saw from McBride?
When it comes to Deuce McBride, over the past 8 games, Deuce has averaged 8.5 points, 2.1 assists, and 1.5 rebounds in the 8 games. But when you look at it, his efficiency, like Lee said, he's shooting 51.6% from the three-point line and the time that he has been playing. 16 for 31 from the three-point line. And like Lee said, can he keep this up? I'm not sure it would be at 50%. He may fall back to earth. I could see him sitting anywhere 38 to 40% if he was to get a full season to see what he can do. But it's January 15th right now. You guys know me. I've been saying it for the longest. We have from now until February 8th to see if Deuce McBride is the real deal or not. And if he's not the real deal, then you could go out there and trade for Phil's new favorite player, Terry Rozier, or you could do what I want to do and trade for Malcolm Brogdon, right? I like the idea of Terry Rozier, right? I know Phil has been going hard for Terry Rozier. I just don't think he's a fit with the team just because of his lack of defensive effort. He doesn't play defense, right? That's the biggest thing when it comes to Tom Thibodeau. He wants you to play defense no matter who you are. We traded IQ and we traded RJ because they don't play defense. We needed a defensive player in the starting lineup, and we got OG, right? So like I said, let's see from now, January 15th to February 8th, to see if both Deuce and Quentin Grimes could step it up. I'm going to need Quentin Grimes to – he got a little bit trigger happy yesterday, right? And in the game against Memphis, I'm going to need him to clean that up going a bit forward.
Yeah, shot selection is big for me. And I live and die with every Quentin Grimes shots because he quickly became one of my favorite players on the team. But he needs to shoot better. And if he doesn't, he can play defense, yes, and he's defending the other team's best player at times. But if he can't shoot it, then we got to find a Tibbs guy who can shoot.
Yeah, and one more thing when it comes to McBride, my fault, Phil. I'll throw it right to. I just want to say this: in the 8 games that Deuce McBride, you've seen his minutes have gone up. He scored double digits in 3 of those games. Right? He had 15 points against against Philly. He had 16 points against Portland, and he had 19 points against Memphis.
Yeah, and so here's what I want to say on a few of those things. First, I don't think McBride is a bad player. I think he's actually a great player. I think he's developing into – you got to look at the amount of time this kid has actually played on an NBA floor. Like, it has not been a lot, So he's just now getting opportunities. However, as good as he is as a Tibbs guy, because he plays that kind of defense and stuff like that, you also have to look at it from a coaching decision. Yesterday, I think it was a very poor decision to put McBride in as the starting point guard. The reason is because if you look, without that time on the court, it's kind of like AOL startup. Like you look at McBride and it's kind of like stuck in the like waiting to get to that next point. Like he's not fully clicking on how to facilitate an offense. So though his numbers shooting and everything were spot on, like great defense, homeboy's mad small and still got a block. Like this kid hustles, like he plays well. But you look at the next up in command, Dante DiVincenzo, as good as he is, he's not a facilitator either. He's a catch and shoot kind of guy. And if you have a facilitator on there, he can cut and then dish, which is great. But you still need an actual facilitator. So now you have 2 guys running the point guard and shooting guard position. Neither one of them can facilitate. That allows Julius Randle to go, it's my time. Gotta go back to OG Julius Randle facilitating. Give me that at the half court line. Like, that's a problem. So that's an issue. We saw the turnovers because no one was able to facilitate. No one at all. And so that's why I like McBride coming off the bench, building that confidence in himself, because regardless of his shot creation, if you look at who actually handled the ball best in his time without turnovers, it was Quentin Grimes. Like, Quentin Grimes can still have that education to get the ball moving without turning it over. Everyone else was just like butterfingers, like gifting the basketball, you know. So
almost
having
like they
him,
weren't sure. Yeah,
exactly. So having him next to Grimes, he doesn't need to take on that full pressure of facilitating because Grimes helps out with that. Grimes and him have a connection. If you watch the post game, they asked him like what was one of the biggest things that helped him feel confident for these kind of moments, and he talked about Quentin Grimes has always told me to believe in myself, that he believes in me, that he knows what I can do, and Quentin Grimes has always had my back and looked out for me. So that's a connection that they have, which is great for a young player. But to come out the first time ever as a starting point guard and play 37 minutes, 38. Like that's 38 minutes for a guy who has no like actual facilitating strengths. That's a problem. So he should have been on the bench. That was a coaching decision. I would have rather had Grimes back in that starting lineup, you know, alongside Dante or something.
I was going to say that because I thought that too. I thought that Dante probably should have started at the point and Grimes should have been the two. But what a good game for us to just throw him out there and see what he has, right? That was the perfect game and the opportunity for him. And now we see that it's probably better for him coming off the bench. I think he did a great job, but I agree. Facilitating in the offense is a big need, especially when you got guys like Julius Randle who turn the ball over at will. No, I'm going to leave Julius Randle alone. I love Julius Randle. Let me just say that. But he makes me so angry.
It leaves me a huge question for you, Lee. Okay. You brought up Malachi Flynn. Okay. Malachi Flynn comes in, plays 10 minutes, gets 9 points, shoots 80%, 50% from three. And with his 9 points in 10 minutes, gets 3 assists and a steal. And then we don't see him again.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like what is going on there? You know, like that to me is just awkward when you see a guy finally come in and it seemed like he had that facilitating that we weren't seeing with our starting lineup. He was cutting, finding people, creating 3 assists, 9 points in 10 minutes. That's a crazy number. You know,
pushing the ball up the floor.
You know, like confident. Yet Tibbs pulls him and we don't see him again. That to me is concerning as well.
It is. And I don't know if Phil addressed it or if anyone asked him after the game why he decided to keep Malachi on the bench, but that's something to look for. If Jalen is out, I don't know if he's out this game, but that's something to look at going forward. Like because we know that Thibodeau has this thing about guys he may not like for whatever reason. He sits them at the end of the bench and you never hear from them again. But I would like to know, we know why Evan is at the end of the bench, right? Because he doesn't play defense. Although there are games where we could use his 3-point shooting and his scoring ability and his playmaking ability. He could create shots for himself, but we just don't see him. So, and I thought Malachi was playing pretty good defense, even though the competition wasn't great. And also, too, let me say this. Shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies because they played their ass off. You know, these guys are professionals. They're playing.
I mean, even the stadium applauded them, right?
Yeah,
even after the loss, they're like, man, these group of kids just showed up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'd like to see more of what Malachi Flynn can offer, certainly. And if he's not going to play, I'd like to know why, because he showed that he's a capable backup point guard in the league.
Yeah, and like you said, Lee, if there was a game to throw McBride into the fire to see if he can actually facilitate and be a starting point guard, it was the game against the G League Memphis Grizzlies. They didn't have we know Desmond Bane was out. We know John Moran is out for the rest of the season. So that was the game to throw him against the fire to see if he can actually do something. And again, 19 points, right? He wasn't a great when it came to facilitating. You got some things to clean up. When it comes to Malachi Flynn, like you said, you get parked at the end of the bench. You in Evan Fournier territory. Evan Fournier, he's at the end of the bench playing Uno, right? So it's good to see him have someone to play Uno with. But when it comes down to it, I think either both Evan Fournier and Malachi Flynn, I think Malachi Flynn didn't get more burn because the front office is trying to see if Deuce McBride can actually do it, right? 38 minutes. He played the most minutes out of everyone that was on the court, even more than Julius Randle. So that right there is telling me that the front office told Tom Thibodeau, we're going to sit Jalen Brunson. throw out Deuce McBride for as long as you can, and let's see what the kid has. Because I truly believe if that game against Memphis, if it was against the Boston Celtics and the Celtics was fully healthy, I think Jalen Brunson would have played that game. But it was the fact that it was against Memphis. It was the fact that a lot of their players were missing that they decided, you know what, let this be a rest day for Jalen Brunson.
Yeah. I just want to say, Hector, I like the way you said Malachi's name. You said it mad Puerto Rican. You was like, Malachi.
I did. I'm gonna make sure I don't say it for the rest of
the show. Everybody in the chat, we will be doing open panel a little past 12 o'clock today, so we'd love to get everybody's takes, see how you're feeling about this last game, how we feeling about today's game this afternoon. We also got our boys stopping by a little bit later too, right, Heck? We got
my guy Aja Gibson, Taj Gibson brothers should be stopping by around like 12 o'clock, a little bit after that, to join us in for the conversation. So you guys are gonna want to tune in. My guy Stapadon said, Hector, the guy had 5 and 6. No, what I mean is that Deuce McBride. I'm talking about Deuce McBride being out there with Julius Randle, needed to demand the ball more so he can run the offense, take it out of Julius Randle's hand. If you're the point guard, that's how you set up the offense. Don't give it to Julius Randle to set it up, and then you try to come in with 10 seconds left to try to draw up a play. No, demand Julius Randle give you the ball and let you call up the play.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Because like there is that confidence factor that you see in Miles McBride. Like even in his post-game interview, he is seems like a very humble and quiet, like kind of player, like very like, hey, I'm gonna do my job, I'm gonna play. He even said when they asked him, like, are you happy that you got the bag? And he's like, honestly, that's cool and all, but I just love the game. I'm just thankful that I'm able to play, and sometimes you're like, yeah, that's BS. Like you can smell it. But with him, you're like, yo, this guy is straight up just happy to be in the league right now. So you get a player like that, and you get Julius Randle, who has been playing great, but we all know that he's had those keys before Jalen Brunson, and any opportunity that he gets to get them back, he'll take them, like, oh, JB's not gone. This is my squad again, Miles McBride is not going to have the confidence to say, yo, no, I'm running the point. Give it back to me. He's going to wait till Julius gives it to him and then try to create, which he did a good job. 5 assists in that position is still a great job. But you did see a lot of times that Julius was like, all right, give it to me, and gave it to him immediately, as opposed to Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson will look for the best option first and then give it to Julius if it's the right thing. So McBride, I don't think, had the confidence to tell his OG of the team, like, nah, man, this is my time, Could have made
Knicks Live said, run McBride through the Bronx a couple times. He'll be ready in no time.
Facts. Don't worry. I'll take my guy to Fordham Road. We got to go to the Dollar Pizza spot on Fordham.
Look, staying on the positive side of the other night, how about a little love for the big heart, man? I mean, is this guy not making you fall in love with him more and more every single game? Lee, how you feeling about our big guy?
I mean, I love Hartenstein, man. He's been phenomenal all year. I went to the Spurs game against when they played Wemby at the Garden, and he was just the most. He stood out amongst all the players because his hustle, his defense, his communication with the guys on the floor. He's been phenomenal. With that said, I know there's a lot of chatter about Mitch is gone. There is a distinct difference when Hartenstein is on the floor and the defensive rebounding, right? So I don't know what it is, but you can see it in game. You can see that there's some missed opportunities on defense, and I don't know what the numbers are. Maybe somebody can look this up of the teams that we're playing, how much better their offensive rebounding is when Mitch is out. And again, Hartenstein is great. He hustles and he plays really, really well, really, really smart, cerebral player. But I think we still need Mitch. We need Mitch back, or maybe we need Julius Randle to rebound better, when he's in there. But yeah, Hartenstein has been fantastic, man. Even backdoor, some of his passing the backdoor and his facilitating on offense, he's really, really good, man. Really, really good player. Value contract. I don't know if they have to pay him next year, but he's worth every penny that he's going to get.
I'm gonna throw it over to you, Paris.
1 second. Yeah, I want to shout out Paris Duggar with the $5 super chat. Thank you for helping us keep the lights on. You didn't see Malachi again because Tibbs don't want fans wanting Malachi to play. Tibbs did it to Obi and Fournier last year when he helped us beat Philly. Paris Duggar, my man, thank you for the $5 super chat. My guy Jammin' Jet said, Fordham Road, I am a Fordham alumni and I'm proud of it. My guy, I went to Fordham High School of the Arts right across the street from the college. I appreciate you in the chat like always. Double A with the $4.99 super chat says, Phil is my dog. Hurts, he hates old people. Randall starting to cry again. Yes, Phil has a thing for hating old people. We got over 150 people in the building. If you guys can, smack that like button. If not, Phil is going to come to your house and take your social security check. All right.
The craziest thing is Hector's the youngest person on this panel. He's the one I hate the most. So how does that make sense?
I love you too, bro. No, anyway. But for me, when it comes to Hartenstein, I'm gonna need people to start putting respect on his name. You got to start calling him Hartenstein. Put a little bit of royal swag to it, right? It's like King Booker when he was the king in WWE is King Booker, right? So I'm gonna need you guys to put some respect on Hartenstein's name. But Hartenstein, he's playing himself into a big bag next year, whether that's with the Knicks or whether that's with another team. Be careful, Knicks fans. Hartenstein may be playing on another team next year if there's a team that comes out there to try to overpay him. But I like Hartenstein with the Knicks. I like his role. Mitchell Robinson, there's rumbles about him coming back towards the postseason. I think that would be the perfect combination, having Hartenstein start the game and Mitchell Robinson to come off of the bench. And then during the offseason, Leon Rose is going to have a tough decision to make when it comes to Hartenstein. Like Lee said, do we trade Mitchell Robinson like a lot of fans have been saying? Do we re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein so we can have that nice back-to-back with Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson? Because regardless of what it is, regardless of what Hartenstein is going to get paid, Mitchell Robinson, he is on a very team-friendly deal. So you can afford to give Hartenstein $15 million because that's the same amount of money Mitchell Robinson is getting paid, $13 or $15 million. And then when a trade presents itself, you can either use Mitchell Robinson's money or Hartenstein's money to put in the trade to make the team even better.
Let me ask you guys this. Does with Mitch in that game against Dallas, do they get that rebound at the end of the game?
Oof,
if Mitch is in the game,
that's a tough one.
I don't think so.
I don't think honestly. So because Mitch would have been doing the same thing Hartenstein was doing, blocking out someone, blocking out Dallas, so someone on his team could get the rebound, and that's what we didn't do. Hartenstein made a perfect block out. Julius Randle couldn't secure the ball.
You got to look at last year, like where Luka intentionally bounces the basket off the hoop. Here's the thing about Mitch versus iHeart. I like Mitch a lot, especially for me being one of the first few Knicks in a long time to get a bag to stay a Knick. Like, I like that. He's a great player. However, injuries are for sure a concern. Like, people are undermining this. Like, this is a 7-foot+ guy who just got like screws put into his foot. Like that's not something to be taken lightly. Injuries on a big guy is always a concern, but injuries of that magnitude are also a concern, and it's not his first. Like, he's been pretty much injured at least some part of every season that he's been with us, and that is concerning. Yeah. But for me, did you watch the Melo interview where he was talking about like the OG trade? Where Melo
when Melo did his perfect Cat Williams impersonation. Yeah, I think us Knicks fans saw it.
But one thing he said that made a bunch of sense is defense is great, and we are one of the few teams that cause teams to actually like play good offense because they know that we can defend them. But he did say one thing that made a lot of sense. At the end of the day, though, the game's about a bucket, and you need to make buckets to win. So if both teams are playing dope offense, the game doesn't end at 0-0. The game ends when someone puts a bucket in. Yeah. And we're seeing our team be able to more effectively score buckets with Hartenstein in the starting lineup than we are Mitchell Robinson. The ball actually moves a lot. There's not the log jam because yes, Mitch can't stand in the paint for 24 seconds, but he's in that vicinity. So Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle don't have the full freedom to figure out where their spot is. It has to be wherever Mitch is not or wherever the other one isn't. So with Hartenstein, and he's a great like facilitator, like for a big, he's able to find you in positions that people are like, holy crap, he just caught Dante cutting or he caught, OG cutting. So our offense looks a lot better. And he's so the biggest concern would have been defensively, but he's risen to that occasion. This is a guy who has blocked Gobert. He has blocked freaking
Cat at the rim.
He blocked Embiid at the rim. This is the guy who has stepped up. And he puts everything out there, and I think Tibbs is starting to see that. He is the definition of a Tibbs guy on both ends of the court. Homeboy walks away where it looks like he was in a mosh pit because he's completely clawed from like elbow to
every game. I feel like he's bleeding, right? Every game.
Because he leaves it all out there. So for me, Mitch would be great off the bench if we keep both of them, because then there's less minutes for him, less risk of injury. If he gets hurt, it doesn't completely throw everything in the starting lineup off. So I think Mitch would be best off the bench when he comes back. And if we have to trade one of them, unfortunately, to me, it would be Mitch, because I feel like we're getting to a point in the NBA now where you're starting to see a big man be more than a guy that just someone who grabs rebounds. We're getting back to the Olajuwon kind of days, which would be dope to see, where a big man actually has a bag.
Offensive game, for sure.
Real quick, go ahead, Lee. My bad.
No, I was going to say I like the idea of Mitch coming off the bench, but I'm afraid if Hartenstein gets hurt, then what? Right, because we haven't seen Jericho Sims play in a very long time. So what do you do at that point? If Mitch, I like Mitch coming off the bench. I think that's the best move. And Hartenstein starting, but he's playing a lot of minutes right now. And if he goes down, we haven't seen enough of Jericho Sims. So what happens then? That's what I'd like to know.
iHeart hasn't been injured. He does not have an injury history. So that's a plus.
Yeah, Mitch is the one with the injury problem. Every season we're missing Mitch, right? So
I think
it's an
we all know
problem to have.
I think we all know when it comes to the big man, if anybody goes down, Tom Thibodeau is going to take out that bat signal and call on Taj Gibson to come back to the team and join the roster. Again, shout out to the Gibson family. I love them a lot.
Let me shout out Jammin' Jet with the $10 super chat, keeping the lights on. Fordham University. Malachi is a sleeper. Diversity is when champions are made. Trust the process. Appreciate you, Jammin' Jet. We got over 165 in the building. It's been a minute since we've done a roll call. You want to do a quick one, Heck, before we do another topic?
Roll call. I want to shout out my guy, HP Carlos.
Oh, we international, baby.
Shout out from Porto. Shout out to my guy, HP. Rebuild NYK is in the building. Salute to you. On Dios NYK, mi hermano de la isla, what it do? Salute to you. Anthony D is in the building. Anthony D, how you doing? Salute to you. My guy Dripmore is in the building. Bo Ishmael is in the building as well. Appreciate everybody who's in the building. If you guys can, please smack that like button. Like Celso said, we got over 160 people in the building. My guy Jacob Petruzzi's in the building. How you doing?
My guy Bankhead. What up, Bankhead?
Shout out to Bankhead. My guy Jacob Petruzzi, he pulled a hamstring in the duck race that we had on Friday. Shout out to Jacob Petruzzi. Seeing you back in the chat, seeing you healthy, ready to go. But you want to do predictions real quick? I know we got Lee for a little bit longer. Lee, what's your thoughts? Game is at 3:00. MLK Day. Knicks versus, hold on 1 second because my screen just messed up right now. Knicks versus the Magic, a rematch after the Magic beat down on us in Orlando. What's your thoughts? How do you think this game is going to shake up?
I think the Knicks win easily this game. They're going to shut these guys down in the Garden. Defense has to be high. Paolo's going to get his. You got to get Suggs out of his game because that dude is wild annoying, but he's a good ball player. You got to get him off his game. You got to be able to knock down your shots, right? You can't come into this game shooting 23% from three. You got to be able to get to the basket against these guys, maybe draw some fouls because they're not as strong defensively. They're good in the passing lanes. They're a good defensive team. They play hard, but you gotta get to the basket and you gotta make it 3-pointers, man. And I think the game will go our way. And I don't even know if Jalen is playing, but if Jalen is playing, you know, he's going to have to score the ball for us to win. But I think the Knicks win. The problem is that I think the Knicks are going to win every game. So my predictions are always the same. That's why I'm always angry, dude, because they don't win every game, and I need them to win every game because I expect it. You know what I'm saying?
You know, Lee, I swear, bro, there's an alternate universe where you became the owner of the Knicks and the counselor for Jets fans, right? Like there should be an alternate universe. That's what we're gonna create, man. Did
Folks,
you see
again,
this before? Oh, go ahead, Heck.
No, I was gonna say I'll throw right back to you. We're sitting at 2,839 subscribers. If you're watching us, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 3K on the subbies. Go ahead, So what you were saying, what you was bringing up?
Actually, I was just going to pull this up before Lee goes because KP knows, man. KP's still rocking with the Knicks, showing us love. Yeah, I mean, the man straight up saying it. He says the Knicks are legit title contenders, second best team in Eastern Conference. I know we don't like to pick and choose which people we like in the multimedia mainstream, but this is one of those ones, Lee, I'm okay with. I will highlight it on the show. Do you think he's just hyping us up, or do you think he kind of means it, bro? Like, we are that team.
I mean, he's been saying it for 3 years now. He's been saying it for a while now. So he's been consistent, and it's you know, it's kind of frustrating that we get to see Stephen A. Smith, you know, who claims he loves the Knicks, but you can tell that he doesn't even watch the games, and that's the frustrating part. Is that, you know, a guy who has no connection to the Knicks, KP, is going to bat for us, where a guy who says or thinks he's a fan does not go to bat for us. And I'll say this too: I haven't heard from Richard Jefferson in a while too, because the Knicks are playing well. So I like KP. I like what he does, man. You can tell that he watches the game and he takes an interest in the Knicks. And you know, they're not perfect. You know, maybe saying that they're title contenders might be a little bit of a stretch, because we still, as fans, we know what we see on a day-to-day basis, and we see that they need that guy that's not gonna, you know, that guy that can score the ball, that's not gonna allow them to have scoring droughts for half or quarters, you know. So they may be Eastern Conference Finals, you know. That's what I see this year, and maybe the ball will bounce well and they'll get to the finals. But I see, you know, them taking that next step. But I love Perk, man. He's always, you could tell he watches the game, and he has no connection to the Knicks, so that's what makes it even better.
I got a voice note from Stephen A. He was watching the show and he heard what Lee just said, so he sent me a voice note. I got it right here that I want to play. You bitch.
I even talked to my pastor, and I had to ask for forgiveness before I went at Lee. So Lee, before we let you go, bro, I want to make sure it was cool with you, but you know, I did pull up a little bit of a "I'll make you better," and I thought once we let you go, maybe I could play a little clip here for the people in the chat. I dropped the link, guys. Go check out Lee's stuff everywhere. If you haven't checked out Lee on social media, what do you do with your life? Get over there, follow him, do the whole thing. The links are in the chat. It's in the description. Lee, man, thank you so much for hanging out with us today, bro.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you, man. Congratulations on the success, man. Keep it going. I love watching you guys, man. And go Knicks, man. Have fun. Enjoy the game today, guys.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Guys, appreciate you, Lee. And pop this on. Let me get this here. Oh, look, we look mad professional. Guys, I got to play it. So check this out. Let me make sure we got it. We'll be right back. Check it out.
If you're a diehard Knicks fan and you're struggling with life, we all struggle.
My name is Thomas Jules, and I provide counseling services for fans of the New York Knicks. You can call me Tom.
Watching this? All right. Oh, shit. No. Oh, my God. I'm done. Right.
I run a weekly group meeting to help Knicks fans navigate the highs and lows of the season. Mostly lows.
I really don't know about that guy.
A lot of lows.
The hell is this?
Actually, 20 years of lows.
We kept Julius Randle.
Could be worse.
He finally
could be
has a point guard.
Kings fan. I do some intensive work with some of our highest needs fans, mostly stands.
Shout out to the Frank Hive.
Sorry to bother you. Is this a good time for our one-on-one session?
Knicks, Frank?
Knicks. Yeah, Frank, Knicks.
Oh, we.
Got some baguettes for you.
Bagels.
Shout out to French baguettes.
No, those are baguettes.
It's a bagel, man. You said baguette.
Brought to you by Evan Fournier.
It's French onion baguette.
Bagel.
What happened to your accent?
What accent? What are you talking about?
I thought you were from France with the whole...
No, I'm from Jersey, man.
One of my greatest challenges, I wouldn't say challenges, but it's conveying to every Knicks fan that both them and the team have a clean slate every year.
Do I believe that?
Bro, I've been a Knicks fan for 35 years. What do you mean, do I believe that? Of course I don't believe that.
Fuck would I believe that? He's kidding, right? Is this some kind of joke? He drives like a Knicks fan. But if you're a struggling Knicks fan, whatever it is that you're looking for,
check out our boy Leo.
Yes.
Yo, that shit cracks me up. I've seen it a million times and it cracks me up.
Shout out to Ralph. Shout out to Ralphie too. Ralphie is someone that has been going hard when it comes to Julius Randle ever since the pandemic. I've been on panels with Ralphie and he's been raving the flag for Julius Randle.
Yeah.
If you guys know, you know. If you know, you know when it comes to Ralphie. Shout out my guy Ralph.
Man. All right. So I know before Lee left, we were talking a little bit about the game this afternoon, 3 o'clock. Yo, it's crazy to think the game's literally in 3 hours from now, right? This is going to be a nice Monday. Phil, how we feeling about tonight's game? And I just dropped the link in the open panel. So anybody that wants to come up, give us your takes. How you feeling about tonight? Want to chop it up, talk some Knicks? Come on up.
Oh, yeah.
The panel is open. I know our boy Double A. Well, we just put the bat signal on. You know, he'll be here in a sec.
Yeah, Double A,
Phil.
that's my guy. He always pops up. Always remember, too, if you guys are new to this, right, and you want to jump on the open panel, always remember, you know, be respectful to the terms and services when it comes to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Be respectful to one another. If you're coming up to the open panel, if someone is in the middle of giving their take, allow them to finish because the same time would be given to you when it comes to finishing your take. AKA, don't be what, so?
A douchebag. Let's get Double A up here, ladies and gentlemen. The chat is there, Phil. While we bring Double A up.
We got this chat right here. Vivette Paratiti. I do not want to butcher it.
Parati.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, Viva tu vida para ti. Okay, cool. Great channel, full of energy and entertainment, sports talk, especially when it comes to the New York Knicks. I appreciate you. Salute. Here's my guy, Mr. Aja Gibson. Aja, let me know if you want to join us. I'm gonna I sent you the link, but I'll put the link back in the chat so you could join us. I want to get your perspective when it comes to this team because I know the Gibson family, they are diehard Knicks fans. So Aja, the link is in the chat. If you could jump up, we most likely will love to hear from you. If not, it is all good.
How about Julian? I'll be respectful as Eddie Presti.
Yeah, I was.
You guys kidding me? Let me tell you something.
You guys got to understand. When we linked up with Eddie, we told him we put it in his contract. He is obligated to drop an F-bomb every 6 words. So it's just what's in his contract. All right.
He's the Bill Burr of the morning brew. You know what I mean? What up, Double A? The fittest 60-year-old in the building. Bro, I only flex when you're on, but I don't show the guns because you embarrass me every time, bro.
You know, I know it's not true, Phil. You don't hate old people, right? You know I'm
old. You my guy. You remember? You're the one who canceled on me for our last hangout. So you hate the young one.
No. I'm just showing Hector. We paying attention over here.
Nah. We good. Double A. It's all love.
So Double A. We're gonna talk about the Magic game and my concerns. I want to know what you think about them. Because I was with Eddie at the last one here in Orlando.
At that disaster. Yeah.
At that
That's
disaster.
where you wanted. That's where you wanted me to come. I knew better, bro.
My concern is from watching it. Jalen Brunson is an in-game, like close to game decision. So as of an hour ago, there's no guarantee that he's playing tonight. Okay. And we saw the lack of facilitating and easy buckets, were not something that we got yesterday. Like they came at a lot of back and forth and a lot of turnovers and stuff like that. And Orlando's been kind of on a little bit of a down slump. They've lost quite a few games back to back, but they know how to score. That's one thing they can do is get buckets, which means that we need to get buckets. And without Jalen Brunson, that's my concern, is that we don't have someone that's going to get us a guaranteed bucket. But more so, they lost a really, really close game the other day by the ball sliding out of Banchero's hands on a putback. And when you lose that kind of game, the next game is always something you're trying to prove, that you guys are not what just happened in that game. So I feel like they're going to come into the Garden and try to make this a statement game for themselves. So how do we, with or without Jalen, maintain a win against this Orlando Magic team?
We got to play bully ball. You know that. We got to play bully ball against them. Julius got to punish him inside. Isaiah's got to be the beast he's been on the boards. Offensive rebounds, man. He's getting them too, huh? Bully ball, man. That's how we win. One thing I don't understand is why Malachi can't get a little tryout too. He's an experienced guy, and if we look at it for real, that's not the spot that really bothers me as far as the backup point guard. Because if we look at it in the playoffs, Jalen's going to suck up all the minutes. You know what I mean? So we just need somebody for insurance or whatever. But I don't see nothing wrong why we got him. Is let Malachi split some of the minutes with Deuce and see who's who, man. You know what I mean? And that might inspire Deuce a little bit too, to let him know that, it ain't a done deal. Still be working, and see what happens. But as far as the Magic, Phil, I think the way we get it done is bully ball and crash the boards, and we'll get a victory. The addition of OG going to make a difference. Last time we played him, we didn't have my man.
Yep. And I think that's a good point.
I'll also say, we're all really excited. What do we have? 12 of the next 14 are at home, which is huge.
Oh,
right?
yeah. We need that. We need that.
But, to play devil's advocate too, we also at times need to realize when we're playing at home, that's not an easier task for us. People love to come in the Garden and make a name for themselves. It brings out like the best player for some reason every time they're in the building, right? So we need to handle our business. Yes, this is a little more of a beat-up Orlando Magic team than the last time we faced them. We also didn't have an OG. We didn't see the way the ball was moving like it is now. We cannot have a repeat start like we did this last game. Correct. Right? The tale of the two halves.
We got to come out hard, so.
Talking about OG, there's a clip that, if you guys don't mind, if I can share. If you guys weren't on Twitter over the weekend, right? Shout out to my guy Dexter Henry, because he invited me on his show, The Rapid Rundown. I did it this Saturday. It was super early in the morning. I have the clip just so we could play it. It talks about the OG trade and what was my thoughts on the OG trade. Folks, let me know what's your thoughts on the clip, and let me know if I did good. Here's the clip.
Blow it up. Full screen.
Okay. Bingo.
They improved on the season. They didn't improve. They are 22-16 on the season after they lost in Dallas. They are 5-1 since the OG Anunoby trade. So I got to ask you this. What did you make of the Anunoby trade? And do you think Anunoby has taken New York to another level here?
When it comes to the OG trade, I was shocked when it happened. I was literally in Florida. I was on the line at the Rent-A-Car Central, so I couldn't go live and report on it. But when the OG trade happened, I was shocked at first, because obviously as a Knicks fan, we love to root for our young guys. Quickly, RJ Barrett was young pieces that we drafted in the draft. And when it comes to the Knicks, we don't have a solid track record of drafting and developing players. So seeing RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly go, it hurt us at the moment. But after you saw the effect that OG has on the court, I don't think there's a lot of Knicks fans out there that wouldn't want to do that move a second time around if it was to present itself.
No.
For me, right? For me, I'm sorry, real quick. For me, when it comes to OG, the way that he's able to move without the ball is the biggest piece, right? Having 3 ISO dominated guys, Jalen, Julius, and RJ, it just didn't work. It didn't fit. It didn't work. Having OG to be able to know what his role is, defense first, cut to the basket, knock down my shots when I'm open, that right there has opened up the team, and it looks like a new version of the Knicks.
Yeah, it seems like already a pretty seamless fit. Like you said, not being able to always have the ball in his hands, doesn't need that, can score without it, and hit the corner 3, playing excellent defense. It just seems like it was a pretty good fit.
All right.
Again, shout out to my guy Dexter Henry for that. And also, just so CP in the chat. He see what he put? Hector remind me of a Puerto Rican Mr. Listen, CP, I was looking at your wardrobe, all right? I went on your Instagram. I looked at a few of your outfits, and I put my outfit.
No, you know what? I love that CP said that because you know what? Hector, you were looking mighty dapper for SNY, man.
He was slide, bro.
Right? We get a different version on the Knicks Morning Brew.
So we have to apologize to all of our viewers of today's episode because Hector completely lied to you about not showering because he showered like 3 times for that episode. So he showered more before that episode. Like he texted us in the morning, "Hey guys, just woke up. I'm gonna shower real quick." And then he was like, "I gotta leave for the train in 30 minutes. I'm gonna shower again real quick." And then he hopped in the shower real quick just to dap off before he left. Like that was 3 showers, more than he's done all month. So shout out to Dexter for making our guy look so dapper and showered up.
Thank you. My guy Bo said Hector looking like Fluffy. First of all, I love Fluffy the comedian, one of my favorite comedians that are out there. So I take that as a compliment, bro. I appreciate that.
Hector, you one of those guys that are conspiracy theorist type, dude. You like that?
No,
right? No, you don't like that.
Well, if I'm getting some sip on, I'll entertain myself, but I'm able to think critically when it comes to some situations.
You gotta look one square below. The conspiracy theorist lover of this group is my brother. Jiggaman. This homeboy spent the last day and a half that he was with me in Orlando.
Phil has left the building. Thanks for joining us today on the Knicks.
Of course, bro. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that, bro.
The last day and a half with our family, like Googling this conspiracy theory of aliens in Miami. Like, yo, that's your guy down there. Talk to him.
You know what's crazy? I knew you was gonna bring that up because I already know. Right, so I already know that's what he was going to. But no,
listen, everybody knows I put a little something in my morning brew. All right, y'all know how
when I was in Florida, that's when that happened. There was no aliens in Miami. If aliens are going to make their trip to the Earth, the last place they're going to stop first is Miami. That's all I'm gonna say when it comes to that.
Unless they like a nice like bachata, unless they're feeling it, you never know.
They'll go to DR then if they want some bachata. But Double A,
I'll address it to Celso then, the conspiracy question.
Go ahead.
My theory with this Randle thing. I know people were loving Randle, how he's playing. Of course, I'm loving the way he's playing. But here's my conspiracy, all right? Maybe these trade rumors do have a little bit of stuff to it because you got to look at it. Maybe the Knicks front office is looking like, we really don't look at Randle as a piece going forward. And, with all this salary and decisions coming up, they got to make a decision. And when the pan is hot, which is right now is hot with Julius Randle, his trade value is the highest it's ever going to be. Maybe they thinking maybe this is our time to flip him and make some pieces. What do you guys think about marketing, getting marketing and getting Spider?
So I'll be honest, Double A. I am not at a point where I think anybody can really convince me that this front office in any way is thinking of trading Julius Randle, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we've all accepted the fact that it's Julius and Tibbs, right? I feel like a lot was answered when the RJ trade happened. We were all asking for a full 2 seasons. These two don't work together. One has to go, right? We talked about it. Whether you were on the RJ side, the Julius side, didn't matter. They showed us what the move was, and that's why RJ's gone. I don't see a world, and shout out to our boy Knicks Recap, because he had Jake Fisher on the other day, and Fisher mentioned there's been no discussion between the Knicks and other teams regarding Julius Randle. Now, again, we can easily sit here and have a whole episode, especially with this chat. We can literally sit here and give you all the pros to keep Julius and the cons to get rid of Julius. And that, let's be real. Heck, Phil, we could probably do like 10 episodes on that and have an open panel that packs out like crazy. I personally don't think it's a real thing, AA. I don't see how they trade Julius, even with his value being higher, even with him playing the style of basketball he is this season. But at the same note, I'm going to say it, I might get killed for it. We're finally getting a better version of Randle. So the one time that I'm the most happiest with Randle is the one time we're actually going to go and talk about trading him. I'm like, well, you know what? He is creating his shots. He is playing ball. I'm not in a position that I'm voting to get rid of Julius. That's me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hector.
Yeah, and you just want to echo on recaps and what Julian said too in the chat. There's a lot of Knicks for clicks that is going around right now. You know, we put no stock into anything that any of the other reporters say until something actually becomes factual. Then we're going to put weight behind it. We're just reporting on whatever news that is out there, giving our take on whatever the rumors that are out there. But when it comes to the rumors, like I said, they're just rumors, right? Knicks for clicks is one of the top things that's been going on the internet ever since, you know, the internet has been a thing talking about sports. When it comes to Julius Randle, I don't think if there's a move to happen, it's not going to be now. It's not going to be before the trade deadline. It's not going to be now. If he does not perform this postseason, then maybe there's going to be conversations about if the Knicks move on for Julius Randle. But as of right now, Julius Randle, he's safe. He's gone. Oh, I know what just happened. Julius Randle is safe. Tom Thibodeau is safe until the postseason happens. If both of them fell or if one of them fell, then that conversation we could circle back around it. But as of right now, I think the team is built around Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and everything else is just going to be pieces that just trickles around to make them better. Now, is it a major move that may happen at the trade deadline? I'm not sure. If I had to put money on it, I think it would be a minor move, somebody to help the bench, like another ball handler, maybe a Terry Rozier, maybe a Malcolm Brogdon. Who knows? But I'll think it'll happen. That's the move that will happen. It won't be a major move.
Before we throw it over to you, Phil, for your take on it, I want to shout out some people in the chat. Like E. Gibson says, I think we are on a JB Randle Tibbs timeline. JR has improved each year here, and he is playing more team ball this season.
Yeah.
Ollie's state of mind, Jake Fisher is definitely official and knows what's going on. I believe him. Yeah, and that's why I had to make the graphic, right? I mean, Recap did a great job with him the other day. You know, and again, even our chat shows like the divide, right? You got those that are like, Randle doesn't have trade value. Others, this is the highest he's getting. You got Philip Walker. He's not getting traded anytime soon. I understand his value is high, but trade him for what? Picks? This team should be building a contender, not rebuilding with 20-year-old draft picks.
If I may, right, when it comes to what Paris Duggar just say, according to the rumors and stuff, like I said, I emphasize the quotation marks on the rumors. Apparently, this offseason, the Knicks had Julius Randle open to be traded. No team called for Julius Randle. No team called to try to trade for Julius Randle. Right? So what Paris Duggar said about not having any value, there's a little bit of weight to that because the Knicks did make him available this offseason and no team called the Knicks to try to make a move.
Yeah. You know, for me, here's the thing. I'm a huge Markkanen fan. I really like Lauri Markkanen. I like Spider. Like, here's the thing is we're right now in an era where we're trying to, I think, celebrate and get Tibbs to that next spot. I really do. Like, I don't think this front office wants to cash out on Julius Randle now because I honestly think it would be a bad look for the front office. Like, I really think it would. To have held on for him for this long and then when he's actually playing well and our team is actually gelling, make that move, you know, because when you made the move with RJ and Quickly, like, yes, there's always risk and reward options of a trade. You know, there's always that chance. But they weren't the two guys that were, like, being built upon in that city. You know, like, if they trade Julius Randle and it completely flops, it's a really, really bad look, you know, on the front office and on the coach. Because this is a guy that they've banked on, they've built around, they've figured out different ways to take him from being the one to being the two to being, you know, whatever. So I think that they're really going to lock in on Julius Randle this season. And I think unless something astronomical was to become available, like all of a sudden Joel Embiid's like, I want out of here. Like, I don't see us doing it. Like, I don't see the front office just trading him for even a lateral move. I think the only way they would trade Julius Randle is for a higher tier player, like getting that 1A dream kind of star. I don't think any of those are coming right now. So I think Julius Randle has this year to kind of go with it and continue to play. And hopefully he shows up in the playoffs and we know that it's something that the front office then knows what they're going to do. But I think his playoff performance is going to identify for the front office whether Julius Randle's a Knick next year. But I don't think that we need to worry about that this year. I would be utterly surprised if Julius Randle got moved this season. Like, I would be utterly surprised. And like Hector said, if no one was calling when he was blatantly on like the availability before we saw how he played this year, I think it would be even less calls now because they would know that, like, because he's performed at another all-star, all-NBA kind of season so far, that would make the Knicks want a little more if they were able to let him go. So I don't think that, like, it's going to happen.
But could have been the question of not getting any offers for him because he was coming off a big injury. You know, he's just had an ankle surgery. So I see how some teams would be gun shy to try to trade for a team coming off surgery. But I was just thinking about,
trade for him. What teams would actually benefit from?
Well, I would just think like somebody like Cleveland, right? Cleveland could use more. I think could use a power forward like Julius than they can use, another guard to replace Mitchell. But I think a trade maybe for Julius, if we could flip Julius for Mitchell with some pieces, and if we knew we could get like a player like Marketing to replace Julius, I think they'd see that as a better look.
Cleveland's a horrible fit because they know that Donovan Mitchell's going to be going out soon. And they're planning on banking on their young players. And one of their most up-and-coming players that they believe in is Mobley. Like, they're building on Garland and Mobley. Mobley's a power forward. So if they're banking on building on him, they're not going to go for a veteran who hasn't shown that he can take you to that next level in the playoffs anyway. So I don't see Cleveland being a team that would move him, especially for a caliber player like Donovan Mitchell. Like, if they trade Donovan Mitchell before his contract, they're going to get something for the future, not something for the right now, because they're not a right now winning team.
If I could just add on to the conversation, right? I think everything is going to come down to what happens this postseason, right? We like to see every year the team have improvements. From the first time we got into the postseason with Tibbs, we lost against the Hawks. We went to the second round against Miami. That was an improvement for the first time we was in the postseason. Now, this year, we need to be more competitive in the second round, not losing 5. Shout out to my guy, Nice Delo Mio is in the building. So not lose in 5 games, make it a competitive series, possibly push it to 7 games, possibly make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think we will all say that's an improvement off of last year. And then this offseason, evaluate the team and see what you have. And take note of who's the top teams in the Eastern Conference, who are the teams that are better than you. And then this offseason, you have to build your team to make it better than those 3 teams that are ahead of you or those 4 teams that are ahead of you. So if it is Boston, like my guy in the chat just put there, hold on. When it comes to Lauri Marketing, you got to build your team around who's going to make your team better to go against Boston. Who is going to make KP come out of that pain so Jalen Brunson or whoever else can operate down there? You have to build your team to be better than the teams that are ahead of you after this postseason when you reevaluate your team.
Real quick, Double A, appreciate you jumping on the panel. As always, my guy, we'll see you tonight. I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick. Everybody in the chat, we got a game at 3 o'clock. We all know we're getting ready for that tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm dropping the link in the chat. The 3 of us are hooking up with Ron and John on Still Knicks fans. Little post-game 9 p.m. action tonight. Make sure to tune in and hang out with us there. Guys, we got one more person I figured to close out the show. Oh, shit, Double A, not you. Bye.
Glad Double A wasn't digging up his nose or some shit.
Right? But appreciate everybody in the chat. If you haven't yet, guys, our boy Blood of the Panther just said it. Subscribe and hit the like and notification bell.
Got 90 likes, 10 away from 100. We just need
let's
10
get those
more
100
likes.
That
Get to
like button.
100.
There's
We're sitting at
124 watching right now. We should have 124 likes. Come
10
on.
more likes.
We're not greedy,
especially
right?
for the closer, because this is the first time the closer has been on the show in
To
2024 for the new year.
To
we got
close us out.
We are sitting on 2,844 subscribers. We are 66 subscribers away from 2,900, on our way to 3,000. If you guys can, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, bring up the closer, J Boogie, so we can wrap things up. And of course, so he could bless the airways.
Let's bless the airwaves. Let's close out the show the right way. The closer, Jay Boogie in the building. What up, Jay?
Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's. Blessings, health, happiness to everybody on this beautiful Monday, on this Martin Luther King Day. Blessings, health. Maybe raise up the praises up to that great man and honor everything he done for us all. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to this amazing show that y'all got going on in 24. But hey, I was the first one to appear on this in 2024. Don't forget that, Hector. Don't forget that. But shout out to Hector up there on the show with Mr. Henry. I like to call him Mr. Henry. Shout out to you up there on that show, looking like you was the owner that sold WPIX and took over and bought in YES, man. Yes, man. Big time game for the squad today, man. Revenge factor, you know what I'm saying? I hear y'all talking about Julius, but Julius feels no pressure, nothing about what's happening, the talk and everything. I respect Julius to the fullest. Julius is in the streets. Julius is in the schools. Julius is walking around. Julius is doing everything he can for the city because he loves being here. He appreciates the city, you know what I'm saying? We just need to give him and show him a little bit more love than what we're giving him, you know what I'm saying? And this is another all-star appointment he has to do today, you know what I'm saying, against this guy in Orlando. Yeah, he's going to make a statement out of that guy, you know what I'm saying? He's punished everybody that's going to the all-star game since he'd have been playing them head-to-head, one-on-one, you know what I'm saying, as far as the stats and everything. But more importantly than the stats, man, I just need a victory. I need to start this home streak on the run. What you say, we got 12 of the next 14 games? I figure by the end of February, which is a very short month, by the end of February, we should be in that top 3 seed. Some of them teams up there that's going to be playing the easy ride schedule, they're going to start falling off. We don't been through the toughest part of the schedule at the earlier part, at the ending part of 23, and now at the beginning part of 24, at the Mamba year, you know what I'm saying? Everybody mamboing up. Yeah, I look for us to handle our business. But real quick, I want to send a special shout out to my guy, Mr. Ron Niclario, the coach of high school, on Benjamin Cardoza. I want to share it on the Martin Luther King. Y'all might have heard me say it before, but I want to reiterate it again. You know what I'm saying? In 1958, when Martin Luther King was at the book signing and he was stabbed, that was Ron Niclario's Mr. Emil Niclario's, the doctor that saved Martin Luther King's life, that gave us more years of living, you know what I'm saying? And that man, Ron Niclario, is a great legend for us. He's not the only all-time winningest high school coach it is in basketball. He's been an inspiration for a lot of professional players all throughout the league. You see photos, pictures, and everything. Everybody loves and appreciates Mr. Ron Niclario. So I wanted to share that, you know what I'm saying, to Mr. Niclario, part of, you know what I'm saying, on giving us a little bit more life of the legendary Mr. Dr. Martin Luther King, you know what I'm saying. Also, he is, if I remember it right, he is the last ball boy that played on that 1973 basketball championship. So I'm gonna be promoting and helping to see if the New York Knicks organization can do something for that man. Have him come in, do a special shout out or something for that man, because he, like I say, he was a ball boy, the last ball boy on that 1973. And Mr. Ron Niclario means so much to us all in basketball, man. You know what I'm saying? And throughout, you know what I'm saying, New York City. I know everybody, if you don't know who Ron Niclario is, you know what I'm saying, that's the closest thing to a name like Derek Jeter. That's the closest thing to a name like Walt Frazier, and I want a Walt Frazier statue outside the building. They talking about giving a Dwayne Wade statue, you know what I'm saying, outside of that building in Miami. We need to have a statue out there in front of our building, somebody that's legendary, that we all love and appreciate, somebody that we gonna always carry in, and you know what I'm saying, shout out their names and remember them for who they are and everything. I would love for it to be Willis Reed, but I want them to do somebody that's here so they can see it, and you know what I'm saying, before they move on, because everybody deserves their righteous flowers in life today, man. But blessings to this show, man. Y'all guys doing a wonderful job all the time, all the way around, in all events, not just basketball, in all sports, all phases, you know what I'm saying? And y'all not just great content podcast, you know, creative. Y'all are great men. I have each and every one of these three men phone number. I talk to them constantly. They're great conversations and everything, you know what I'm saying? I always say, if you're in a city, you know what I'm saying, where a Knicks game is being played and you go somewhere, meet some of these guys that's in the area wherever you're going to see a game at, you know what I'm saying? And you'll see how good these guys are off the screen, you know what I'm saying? So y'all guys deserve more and more and more flowers, man. Big ups to y'all with y'all show. Shout out to everybody's in the chat, you know what I'm saying? Blessings, health, happiness to everybody. Anything that somebody is going through, we don't pray that you just go through it. We also pray that you get through it. Let you know that all our prayers is on any and everybody's side. Salute, 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 3 capital S's. Let's get this victory today. And you know what I'm saying? And let's do it, baby.
Let's go. How do you end the show better than that? I'm sorry, y'all. All you can say after that is let's go, Knicks. Jay Boogie, the closer, wrapping us up. What you guys got to say before we bounce? Because the game's about to start soon. We got to get there.
I just want to tell Jay Boogie, I appreciate Jay Boogie always for his kind words. You know, after Jay Boogie talks, shit makes me want to run through the wall. I honestly got to say that. Facts. And shout out to my guy, Knicks are nice in the chat, who says, congratulations, bro. Heck, been through the Knick trenches for years. Much deserved. Knicks are nice. You already know from different podcasts that I started. And again, I want to take a second to shout out Uncle Freezy. It was Uncle Freezy's open panels that allowed me to be introduced to the Knicks community when it comes to the online aspect of it, being a podcaster or just being an online voice that just talks about the Knicks. And I've met some amazing people over the years. Again, shout out to my brother Aja Gibson in the chat. Amazing guy. I love that guy to the day he dies. That's my guy right there. Jay Boogie as well. Knicks are nice. Knicks for life. Everyone that's in the chat. Bodega Wi-Fi, Fly God. Appreciate all of you guys that's been there since day one. You know, we've been talking Knicks. We've been talking Yankees. This is just the beginning. 2023, it was a warm-up. 2024, it's the mixtape. Shit's about to get real. Shout out to CP, the artist, as well in the chat. My guy Ron as well in the chat. Phil, the floor is yours, brother.
Yeah, you know you have a good one when Jay Boogie comes up and he's like, yo, we need a statue of someone that's influenced, and nonstop comments start saying, yeah, Jay Boogie needs to be that statue. Like, you've impacted a community, you know, and I was just thinking, how dope would it be if it was like a Jay Boogie statue, and then depending on the time of the year, like it's Christmas time, you walk by the statue and It's Christmas starts to pop on, you know, and like Jay Boogie's just hitting that
breaking news
fire. That'd be awesome. But shout out to Jay Boogie. Like, you know, Hector was saying, you know, 2024 has started off in such a blessed way for us. Like, we are really, really thankful for the love and support we've seen at the end of 23 into the start of 2024. So shout out to everyone that's been rocking with us, all the other content creators that have used their platform to, you know, promote our platform. Like, we don't take that for granted. Like, we really appreciate that. The constant tweets that go out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from those that follow us. We thank you guys. We want to truly thank our boy Jerry. He's not here with us right now, but you know, that's another brother of ours that we get to connect with on Wednesdays, and just being able to build that continuity within our, you know, organization has been a blessing. Shout out to our guy Eddie Presti, constantly putting out dope content as well. So we're thankful for you guys. We're looking forward to today. And then Wednesday we'll talk. We'll see how we do against this Orlando Magic team. But I'm looking forward to this afternoon and tonight. Once again, Ron and John, still Knick fans. One of the content creators that came on when we were smaller has always opened up their platform to us. Like, that's our family. So shout out to Ron and John.
Again, like Knicks are nice are saying in the chat, if you know, you know. Shout out to Ron Cleveland, the Man Show. Man. Uncle Ron Cleveland. He's not around when it comes to being a content creator, but he still pops up every now and then. Shout out to Uncle Ron Cleveland and the Man Show.
We'll see y'all tonight, 9 o'clock with Ron and John. Back at it again this Wednesday with our boy Jerry Ferrara. You know we're doing the Knicks Morning Brew. Yanks Brew back tomorrow. It's just, another week here at the Brew. Appreciate everybody, and let's go Knicks. Deuces.
Yes.